You ready, Fred? All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jonathan with Gene's Outdoors. We are back for year 2 on the how to one stick video. So it looks like hopefully a lot of folks enjoyed the first one. Definitely took some of those recommendations and comments and whatnot, and kind of, I guess, changed our setup just a little bit this year. So appreciate that for y'all, and hopefully we can answer some of those questions today. We've been kind of going through the comments section looking at those. So very similar to last year, I've got my Sitka tool belt that I usually carry in early season. It's just lighter, I guess a little more minimalist, if you will. Later on in the season, when I have to pack a coat in, you know, on top of the camera gear, we do a lot of our own self-filming. When we can't get together, I have the Sitka tool bucket that I really love so far. It pretty much carries everything in there you need. But anyways, one of the main reasons why I love it is because I can carry my one stick on the bottom of my pack. So it's not on my back, hitting me in the back of the head or rubbing my shoulders when I'm walking in. It just rests there. It doesn't bounce up and down, you know, hit me in the butt when I'm walking through the woods. I don't have to take my pack off or anything like that when I find a tree that I want to climb. I just reach around here, unhook those 2 buckles, boom. I'll get into this stick here in just a minute. Typically what I like to find, whether it's got limbs on it or not, that's the main reason that I love one sticking so much, or just saddle hunting in general. It doesn't matter if the tree's, you know, slick, it's got 100 limbs between here and where you want to hunt. You can do it, and you can do it safely. So one thing advantage over having a climber, used to, if you'd want to hunt a spot, you'd be walking in and you'd find a good feed tree, but there's not a single tree in eyesight or within bow range that you can climb and hunt that tree effectively. So you'd have to go 80 yards off and just hope one walks a little closer to you. Anyways, find a tree about this size. You know, I'd like to say maybe a basketball, a little bit bigger, but as long as you can get this rope around it, you can climb it. So this is the Ultimate One Stick from Eastern Woods Outdoors. I've got the Ultimate platform there on top. Okay, it's kind of got the slanted edge. If you lean, I'll kind of get into that here in a minute too, or if you just like to sit or stand. It's got this Amsteel rope that you'll put around the tree, goes through your cam cleat here, and that is how you'll secure that to the tree. Also, what I have is an Amsteel 2-step aider, and I explained this on the last video. They do make 3-step aiders, but when I put this on the tree, the only time it would benefit me to have that 3rd step would be from the ground. I'll explain here in a second. Once I get higher up, even after I make my first move, even if I had a 3rd step on that aider, it wouldn't benefit me at all. It would just be extra, you know, Amsteel hanging down. So we'll get it just like so. Put it through that cam cleat. I usually like to just wrap it maybe once or kind of hang it off to the side. Cam it down a little bit. There she is. So Eastern Woods Outdoors just came out with a brand new cam cleat this year. The bottom is fixed and the top is the only one that moves, and it is silent. A rubber bushing or something like that, they fix it up nice on the inside, so you could pop it all day long and it wouldn't make a sound. This one is a little bit louder in the woods. You kind of have to be careful when you're hunting, especially. Just be a little mindful of not to pop that and make too much clinging noise. But I'll go ahead and get my rope out. I do have the new tethered lockdown saddle. This is the first time I have put it on. So after we kind of should go through this one stick seminar session, if you will, I'll kind of give some reviews on this saddle, kind of my thoughts on it. So one thing that I have done differently this year, and I guess I didn't do enough research last year, I had a tethered carabiner for my tether. So I know what you're all thinking. I read the reviews and the comments, so I appreciate it. I was just fortunate enough that nothing happened, you know, while I was climbing with it. But Did go to a quick link this year for my actual tether. Mad Rock makes, of course, it's a climbing tool. It is a Mad Rock Safeguard, okay? They make a safeguard and they also have a lifeguard, if I'm not mistaken. It's red. Do not want the red one, because when you put a little bit of tension on it, it will let rope out. That's not something you want when you're up there in a tree. I do have the silencer kit on here from a gentleman I bought it off of on Facebook. It does help, and it keeps the shine off of it when you're in the woods. So we'll go ahead and get this ready. Kind of see where I want it here. Still need to do a few adjustments on this saddle, but so far, so good. Never forget to secure your carabiners in. Okay. You know, a lot of people are making comments, when do you secure your tether to the top? Well, as you can see, it's kind of impossible to do from the ground. So after you first move, you stand on top of your platform, put it around the tree, and then I'll kind of show you how I go up as I go. Everybody's got their own preference, their own methods. So of course, this is just the way I do it. Doesn't mean it's the right way. Now from the bottom, I know I talked about this in the last one. I love to go toe in. If you hunt in the south, you know, sometimes you kind of get into a lot of pine. That makes the less noise, and it also gives you the best directional force. A lot of guys will do side in like that. Like I mentioned, you know, you start scraping that pine bark, you can hear that from a quarter mile away. And you slip your foot off the tree like that too. So toe in, I just reach up here, 1 step, 2. Put this up just about as high up as you can reach or so. You want to go ahead and secure that quick link in. Now, one other important thing here. I'll just pause here for a second. On the point of your tether, as you're ascending up, 1 sticking, this thing's really comfortable, by the way. You want to make sure that this is off center, because when I swing around to the side to reach down and get my 1 stick, if my tether is center, it's going to pull me over further away from my 1 stick than I want it. So I'm going to have it just off center, just a little bit. Might even give myself a little bit of extra slack here. Okay, now usually I have my knee pads on when I'm ascending. I actually don't have them with me today, but as you can tell, I mean, it's incredibly comfortable, and I don't know, just one of the main reasons why I love it so much. You can go anywhere and hunt any tree you want to. So what I'm going to do now is, with that am still, as you can tell, it's very smooth. It's a lot smoother than some of those other saddle companies that they'll have rope or something like that. It's just, I think, a better quality, better material for what I'm looking to do. So back to it. I'm just going to reach down here, and a lot of guys are asking, well, what if you drop your stick? Well, try not to, but if you do, you'll just use your, if you have a Mad Rock or whatever kind of device you have, you'll just go right back down to the ground, get it, and do the same thing all the way back up. Okay, put this back around there. When you put your am steel back around the tree, you want to make sure that it does not go over your tether, because if it goes over your tether and you go to move up, all of your weight's going to be on your stick, and you're not going to be able to move your actual tether. So we just kind of give it a little bit of cam pressure here. Here's where I was talking about with the 3-step aider. If I had a 3rd step, you know, I've got these 15 inches apart, it would be way down here, so that wouldn't really benefit me at all. So right here, it's the perfect height. I just kind of swing here, 1 step, 2, move your tether up kind of as you go. So on and so forth, okay? So that was one move, and I'm what, I don't know, 14, 15 feet, something like that. Minimal effort. If I wasn't running my mouth so much, I could have already been, you know, easily 30 feet if I wanted to. I am running 40 feet of rope, just in case, you know, this is probably taking up, you know, let's just say with a knot and the tether and everything, you're talking 4 feet right there, maybe 5, so I can get 30 feet if I want to safely, so you know the end of your rope will hit the ground when you drop it. But let's say this is where I'm wanting to hunt. Okay, I'm already at my hunting height. I've got everything I need in here. I've got my hiss strap that I put around the tree with my hero clip and everything on there. I'll hang my bow, and let's say I'm done hunting, right? So I am going to pack up all my stuff. I'm going to get my bow ready. I'm going to have a better system this year for my rope string here. This has been tangled up since this previous season. We'll have to edit this part out. All right, well, I finally found the end of this paracord is what it is. I'm going to do a little something different, or at least organize it differently. It's been fine over the past few years, but anyways, let's say I've already lowered my bow all the way down, right? I'll tie the other end of my bow rope to my quick link, okay? I'll usually just do a couple square knots here, just so it's pretty easy to get down when I'm done. I will go ahead and let my rope down. There you go. And now I'll start my descent. So there are definitely a few ways you can come down. I always like to hold a lot of back pressure with my right hand, and with my left hand just give a little bit of pressure here on this mad rock and slowly let that through. Okay, I come down here to where my one stick is, or your platform, whatever you're using. And what I like to do normally is I'll just sit right here for just a second, and it saves me a little bit of time once I get to the ground. I'll just go ahead and wrap it up just how I had it when I put it on the tree. And I like to use these cam cleat on the last circle around there. Hose the rope on there. I know it doesn't look incredibly neat, but it works just fine for me. I usually will put it over my bridge here. You can come down nice and slow, or you can hop. Just make it fun, but safe. This is the only time any of my stuff ever hits the ground, usually is when I'm done. I let out just a little bit of extra here. I like to put everything back just like I had it. And you're essentially taking it down in exactly reverse of the way you put it up. I definitely wouldn't be this noisy in the woods. I don't like to make too much noise. So now, I've taken my rope off my bow. Now I want to get my rope down, right? So, one interesting thing is, you know, say you're in a tree that's got a bunch of limbs, and you're like, crap, how am I going to get my rope down? Well, when you pull that up there, when you give this a tug, now since there's no limbs on this tree, it's probably just going to fall straight to the ground. But if it had a limb, you would literally just be pulling your quick link right over those limbs, and you would pull it all the way down to you and then retrieve it that way. Incredibly efficient. One of our videos on our YouTube channel, go check it out if you don't mind. I was fortunate enough to harvest an 11 point on public last year. and I ended up being about 60 yards from a massive feed tree that I didn't know was there. And from that feed tree, I was able to pack all my stuff up relatively, drop my bow down, lower it down, pull my rope, and I just, instead of packing it up, I just kind of grabbed a couple things I had, and I moved 18 yards from that tree, and ended up shooting that buck at 18 steps. I mean, essentially right underneath me. So had I not been mobile enough to put all my stuff up, including my camera gear, everything, rappel down within seconds, you know, and move 60 yards to another tree, I never would kill that deer. So sometimes you don't always set up in the exact spot you need to be, and it takes a little while just to figure that out. Being able to move and be efficient in that is incredibly important. I know a lot of guys can do similar things like that in a climber, but your tree selection is a lot slimmer, I'll just tell you. I'll go ahead and put this up on my rope. I just essentially just run a figure 8. And I usually leave about 6 or 7 feet out, just enough for my tether. And these big old pouches on this thing, it just fits right in. I'm gonna have to get rid of my roll-up pouch now. So that's incredibly nice. We'll talk about that in a second, but and then I will put this back on the bottom of my pack, and I'm done. Or I can move to another spot, whatever I need to do. I hope that answered a lot of questions for you. We're going to post a lot of links in the video, in the description, of where you can find a lot of this stuff. You know, if one sticking's something you're interested in, several of my buddies who might be a little bit bigger fellas, they do it too. So don't think you've got to be some agile little, you know, tree squirrel to do it effectively. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Hit that subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost a single thing, and that way you don't miss any of our videos coming out soon. So y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.